Okay, so now let's go and make this smartphone a little more interesting, and let's put this laser to use it as a pointer. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to add this quad. I'm just decided to use a quad and remove the mesh collider because I don't need it. Um, just because I think it is a quite basic mesh. Maybe, of course, there should be some more optimum ways to do this, but it is fine. Just for this tutorial, this is nothing related with Muvslide again, but I want to make this from scratch, so I don't want to assume you know anything to make this to follow this tutorial. Okay, so I'm putting this material here, and I'm going to call this laser face up because quads have only one face. Okay, so let me add another one, laser face down, and it will be at -90, so we can see it from both sides. Okay, and after that, oh, I already saved the scene. Okay, I skipped that in the video, but nothing interesting there. Um, and now let's create the cube that we are going to interact with. So I'm going to put this cube here and create a material for it called interactive. We'll put some interesting color and put it in the cube. Okay, of course the cube is not child of the main camera, so put it here, and since we want to be able to use it with physics, I will add rigid body. Okay, so it has gravity. I will make its mass a little less, so we can pull it easier later once we have that functionality done. And well, now we have to make the script to make it interactive. And let's pull that to the cube. Up to the cube. Okay, so save and open this new script. But before we start modifying this script or creating this script, let's refactor a little here our smartphone class, and I will create a new method private called rotate phone. Okay, so we don't need to have all this in the update method. Well, actually, this update method, update phone, and I'm doing this because I'm going to have as well another method called interact. So it is a little more well, easier to understand the update code. So interact with objects, let's call this. Okay, and I will allow Visual Studio to create it. And here what I'm going to do is find out what object I'm pointing after I rotated the phone. Now I'm going to go and check um, which object I'm pointing and interact with it. Okay, so for that I'm going to use, this is Unity classes, nothing to do with Muvslide. Okay, so I'm going to create a new array that goes to this from the smartphone to wherever is forward um, the forward vector for the smartphone is just actually the line we just draw with this laser objects. And I'm going to create a raycast hit. Well, I declare it because I'm going to need it to use the raycast method from physics class. Okay, so I'm going to use this ray, and whatever is the output, whatever you hit with this ray, send me the information to this variable hit. Okay, so after that, after that I'm going to say if hit collider is different to null, it means we touched something with the laser. Then let's get the component from that object, and I want that object to be interactive. Okay, so if I don't get any component, then I know that object was not interactive, and I don't want this to be called. Oh, sorry, I missed this. Okay, now here we are going to call the method in interactive to react to the phone, but we don't have that yet. Okay, so let's go and create it. Let me save, create it, and well, let's remove this too for now. And I'm going to create a public void react to phone. Okay, and well, I know I'm going to in order to react to the input I'm getting from the smartphone, I need a Muvslide object. Sorry, Muvslide input object. Okay, so Muvslide input, Muvslide input. I'm going to add first in games Muvslide. Okay, we're good. Now, what we want to do when to react to the phone is checking the Muvslide input and check if there is new scroll available. So we are going to read if the user is scrolling the screen. Well, it's basically just making some touch gestures to move the object. Okay, so I'm going to get the scroll in X and the scroll in Y. Okay, but let first scroll in X. I'm going to use Muvslide input get last scroll distance X, and similar for Y distance Y. There's a little thing you must know is the distance in the smartphone are considered the top left corner is the 0, 0 position. So the distance when you are detecting the scroll distance in X from left to right, that will mean the in order to transmit it to Unity, going um, from left to right in a positive value, then you need to change it. Well, basically, it's not like you you actually need know this, but you will see it immediately once you program it, and it starts moving to the opposite direction. Okay. Um, so okay, now we have the scroll distance, that is the amount in pixels the user moved the last time. The last time the phone detected this um, a scroll gesture. Okay, so now I'm going to get the rigid body for this cube and just add a force. Okay, scroll. So it is going to push it to the right or to the left, and push it in the axis to the bottom of or towards the user. Okay, and now that we have this react to phone, I'm just going to go here and going to copy this, get component interactive from the collider we hit, and call react to phone. Okay, and say send the Muvslide input we have from this smartphone. Okay, so let's go and test this. Okay, so I'm going to open my app, and now I'm going to scroll right, scroll left towards me. Okay, and the other side. Okay, it works fine, but it is very it is not nice that once the cube moves, you stop pointing it, and you stop actually interacting with it. So let's do something to fix that. Again, this is something much more related to Unity than to Mobslide, but anyway, let's do this. So what I'm going to do is add a variable bool value called locked, okay, to the smartphone, and create this public method that locked. So we can call it from other objects and say, hey, I want to lock the smartphone, so I want it to um, interact only with me at this point. Okay, and well, we will going to need also to send the Muvslide input, that Muvslide input, to those other objects that I are going to lock the smartphone, because now we are not going to send the Muvslide input as we sent it before, as we already well, we just figured out that we don't we don't need only the Muvslide input, we actually need a smartphone here. Okay, and it makes more sense actually react to phone, well, what phone it is. Okay, so I added this to here, these two new methods, setLock and get Muvslide input. Now let's restrict the interact with objects call to only happen if the smartphone is not locked. Okay, interact with objects, and well, here now we need to send smartphone instead of the Muvslide input. So now let's go back to interactive. Of course, we have to get now the Muvslide input, but well, the smartphone has it, right? We just created this method, get Muvslide input. However, we need this to work whether the user is pointing to the object or not, because we're going to lock it, sorry. So I'm going to create this private variable called private smartphone. Actually, I'm going to call it smartphone capture. Well, we also need this. We need a way to release the smartphone. So I'm going to put a new variable here called time since last scroll. Okay, so it's very similar to what we did before. We're going to check. I gave some time to the smartphone to get released. Okay, and well, now what we need to do when we react to the phone is actually it's not moving the cube, but just capturing the smartphone. Okay, and in the update method we are going to say if uh, smartphone capture is not null, it means this already happened. We reacted to a phone, and now yeah, we will actually have all this here. Now we need to capture the phone, of course. So what I'm going to do is check the smartphone here, the Muvslide input, and yep, same is new scroll available. That part is similar because the capture will happen when you start scrolling. Okay. Now we are going to say set locked to true. Okay, let's lock the smartphone. Let's save the smartphone captured. Okay, so we can reference it later here actually. Okay, and the times in last scroll, it should be the current time. We also need some a few changes here in the update method. Okay, starting by adding this this same line. Oh, sorry, this same line times in last scroll, because we want to set again the time every time we get a scroll signal. Okay, and well, actually, let's add here a couple of private. Well, it is fine like that, because they are going to be published in the editor. Okay, that's why I'm using serialize field. Okay, and it will be time to release smartphone. Let's say 0.5 seconds is good enough. Okay, and with that, it could be public and you will see it in the editor. But if you want to, let's say, stick to the best practices of object-oriented programming, then you want to make private anything that should not be accessed from other classes. And to show it in the editor, you add serialize field. Okay. Um, and well, now why we added here this, because in the update method we are going to check and say, okay, I got a smartphone captured, but now I'm not getting any new scroll signal. Okay, so let's check if the times in last scroll plus the sorry plus the time to release smartphone is less than the current time. It's basically it is the same we did before. Now before we hard coded the 5 seconds, okay, but um, and now smartphone captured. Let's release it. Okay, we release it and we actually going to set this to null as well. Okay, so now we have this method to capture and release the smartphone, so it keeps working after you stop pointing to the cube. So let's test this. Okay, so I'm moving the object, and as you see, I don't need to keep pointing to it in order to interact. Okay, but well, now we can add some nice feature here and make the smartphone to actually keep looking at the cube whenever you are interacting with it.